When a project is open in WebSmart, we can navigate through different tabs on this top bar here. While the first tab is usually the server-side code, you can often see various HTML segments. These are sections of HTML code that the server can send to the browser for the end user. HTML segments generally contain the elements that will be rendered on a client browser. That's why it's generally considered to be a client-side element.
HTML can be added and edited from these views. If we want to add a segment, we can right-click the bar and click New. This will allow us to provide a name and description for the new segment.
After clicking OK, we can see that a new blank segment has been created for us. Here we can write whatever HTML we want. Inside the segments, we can right-click and go to Insert HTML to quickly add HTML elements. We can also manage existing HTML segments by navigating to Attributes and Segments. This lets us add, change, or delete the segments in our project. Not every segment contains a complete HTML page. Some contain parts of HTML that are dynamically put together to produce a whole page. To illustrate this, we can go to Attributes and Previews. We can see that this program already has some previews. Clicking the Change option on this Create segment shows us that it was made using a single segment, Record Add. I can click View Preview to see a basic rendering of this. The inputs are filled with dummy data to simulate the form. A more complex preview corresponds to the main list. I can examine this preview using our Change option, and I can find that it's made up of 3 segments, one for the header, a detail segment that's repeated 10 times, and a footer segment. Let's see how this one looks. We can see that a whole HTML table has been rendered with 10 rows. Our first segment, List Header, constructs the page header and top of the table. The List Detail segment is filled in with dummy data and placed in the table 10 times, one for each row. And finally, the table is finished with List Footer. When the page is loaded for real, these rows are filled with actual data from files. This preview can give us a quick look at how the HTML elements appear with dummy data. Another way that we can view how the HTML segments combine is through the HTML vertical view. If we go back to looking at our segment source code, we can find a button along the top here that has been selected. This is HTML view mode. We can switch to HTML vertical view, and we'll find that our HTML is organized into tabs based on the different previews. Now we can see multiple HTML segments put together as specified by the preview. This can give us a better idea of how HTML elements line up across different segments. With these tools, you can quickly and effectively navigate and preview your HTML code to build complex pages and display various elements.